I'm going to explain to you the fastest way to level from 70 to 80 in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Now, this video is going to be going over a lot of different things, so let's get right into this. First things first, if you can AoE farm, the fastest thing you can do is AoE farm. The guy who did World first apparently did it in 9 hours with AoE farming, I think as a Paladin, probably a rep Paladin, I don't know actually. Doing AoE farming in a spot, and also abusing some party mechanic where you have 4 dead party members or something. It's bonus XP, crazy stuff, whatever. Game abuse, kind of. But if you can do AoE farming, so if you're like an Ice Mage, if you're a Pally, whatever you know your classes, if you know that you can do big AoE farms without getting killed, then AoE farms are generally going to be fastest, or at least close to fastest, depending on how good you are at them, or what class you are, what spot you are in. And we're going to talk about the other ways too, because it's not as clear-cut as you would think. We're going to be talking about, are dungeons faster or are they not? Are Battlegrounds reasonable at all? How is questing? How is just straight mob farmer? I'm going to explain all this to you and explain the pros and cons of each and what you need to know and the way it affects you as a class and a player, and what one you should pick. Hopefully after this video you'll have a better idea of exactly what you should do specifically as not only your class, but you, the player, and how you play the game. So first off, AoE farm. So this one in particular is over at Winterguard Keep, and when you head outside of the keep, it's literally right outside of the keep in the moat. The entrance is literally like right where my marker is, if you want to look at the map and pause that for a second. And this one, if you go down here into this crypt, there's 2 rooms down here with all these undead. Now, if you kill every single enemy in the room, then the entire room will respawn all at once. So if you can comfortably AoE farm the entire room, you can grab the entire room, kill them, they instantly respawn, you grab the whole room again, you instantly kill them, and you do it again and again and again and again. Now, obviously, this one's going to be best for a Pally, because a Paladin has plate armor and can, you not just melt when they respawn on their faces and stuff. But anyway, if you're an AoE farmer, this spot is really insane, and you can get a lot done here super fast. But really, AoE farms, you can find them anywhere. If you just keep an eye out, you realize something's a good AoE farm, you can try to make it work and try to farm gold and stuff while getting to 80. Now, if you do AoE farming all the way to 80, you'll probably end up with an insane amount of gold too by level 80, just from the loot, as long as you go and sell it before getting maxed out, or if you have the, was it engineering companion that you can sell to, or was that blacksmithing? I can't remember, but you have something like that. So that is generally going to be the fastest if you do it right, if you're fast at it, if you've got a plan and you're good at it and all that. But what about all the other options in World of Warcraft? We have dungeons, we have questing, we have just straight killing things, there's Battlegrounds, and I've had this debate and conversation with a lot of people in World of Warcraft, and from my experience and conversations and doing it myself and seeing it and playing 10, 14 years ago, I have a pretty good idea exactly all the answers to this stuff. So let's start with dungeons. Are dungeons faster than leveling? That is something that people almost always think or wonder or whatever. And generally speaking, for 90% of players or more, dungeons are going to be horrifically slow compared to questing and leveling, or questing and killing things at the same time, just across the board. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So the things that you need to know about running dungeons. You might think to yourself, well, I've got 4 friends, we're really good, we're just gonna do big pulls and we'll clear the dungeon in 10 minutes and yada yada, all that stuff, and it'll be fast. And if you do it perfectly, if you're actually insane at it, it could be fast, and it could be close to leveling, or questing I should say. And in that case, it might be worth it. If questing is really occupied, you go to one of these zones and there's so many people you can't do the quest, you can't even find mobs to kill. If it's that extreme, then yeah, dungeons could be comparable. But if you go to quest and there's not that many people there and it's pretty freed up and you can just kind of get them done, it's not even close the majority of the time. So let me kind of break this down a little bit more. 90% of you will not do a dungeon the way it needs to be done in order for it to be even slightly comparable to questing. And the reason for this is, what you need to do for a dungeon to be comparable is you need to have everybody know what they're doing reasonably. You need a tank, preferably a Pally tank, because you can AoE farm. You need a healer, probably preferably a shaman, so we can throw in a magma totem to help speed up the AoE farm or something, or just some healer that won't run out of mana so you don't have to stop to pop potions and drink stuff and whatever. And then the other 3 should just be like mages for the AoE farm, whatever the hardest hitting AoE farm you can get is, and you'd go through and you would try to figure out the exact number you can pull. You're gonna min-max it. You're gonna grab 15 mobs, you're going to 20 mobs, whatever, and the healer's gonna be spam healing his best heal, and you're gonna barely get through it, and you're gonna kill them all, and then you're going to, as soon as you can, grab the next group. But the thing that kills people in dungeons on XP is, first off, not grabbing that insane of pulls, not playing it like that, but also just the time loss of, I'm sure you guys have been here, and I'll kind of replicate it here, where you go and you kill some stuff, and now say this is the next room, and everyone stands here at the entrance for 10 to 30 seconds for no reason, and then they go, they don't even do a big pull, and then they, you know, kind of stand around for like 20 seconds, and then they go. And that idle time, and that just like lack of direction adds up so much that it makes dungeons not even worth it at all for most players. 90% of players, that's just how they're gonna play. They don't have it in them to not do it that way. Like, it's just how it goes. What you need to be doing is like a speed run where you're like, okay, from here to there, the fastest thing is a straight line. Right, my head's looking. We're gonna go straight down that corner. We're not gonna be going like this. We're gonna be running straight line. We're gonna grab. We're gonna be popping, you know, runic mana potions off cooldown. If we need more, we're gonna spend the money we got from the dungeon to buy potions to spread out to everyone so they can pop potions instead of using food, and only use food when they have to. Use food. As soon as you're close to max, you immediately start running to the next destination. Go, go, go. No stopping. Second the dungeon's over, immediately get out, reset, run back, repeat, go, 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 like that. Unless you guys actually think you're going to do it like that, it's not even gonna be close to questing. And if you do it like that, it will be, at best, close to questing. So at that point, you might as well just quest if you can, because it's kind of more fun. It's really not fun to run a dungeon 150 times, 70 to 80. I can tell you, I did dungeons only one time from level like 12 all the way to level 70, and it was not fun. I can tell you right now, it was not fun to do that. So that's dungeons. That's kind of like the idea behind why dungeons are or aren't fast, you know what I mean? But then that leaves us with some other things. So we have questing, leveling, that type of thing, and we have Battlegrounds. And also there's an earthquake right now. So straight up Battlegrounds, they're generally not worth it. People will make arguments and they'll say like, oh, well, you get honor, which is fine. You might get honor. But generally speaking, Battlegrounds are not good for XP. They give maybe like 90,000 on an WOTLK value win or something like that. And in the perfect world where every Battleground lasts 5 minutes just so you can level fast for you personally, in the real world, that will literally never happen. Like, at best, maybe a 13 to 16 minute average Battleground length or something. It depends. And also, really know your Battlegrounds. Don't do certain ones. So don't do Warsun Gulch specifically. WOTLK Valley's fine, Arathi Basin's fine. I don't remember Eye of the Storm if there's a way to do what I'm about to describe, but in Warsun Gulch, somebody can actually hold the flag and then not cap it on purpose, and the thing can last like forever potentially. And so, for example, I did it in the 50 rank, 50 to 59, and there's a Death Knight with 11,000 HP who would grab the flag and just run away with it, and then, you know, hide with it and not cap. And instead of, even though there's a time limit of 25 minutes, it'll extend the time limit. And I was literally in there for 45 minutes just to get like a 20th of a level. So not worth it, because in practicality, it won't give that much XP. Now, if you want to farm honor, get to honor cap before 80, you can if you want. And you'll gain some XP along the way, but don't think it's the fastest, because it's not even close. But then that brings us to the last, which is honestly the most reasonable for everybody, which is going to be questing, going and grabbing all the quests in a zone. And ideally, if you're doing quests, you want to have the add-on called Questy, because it shows everything on the map and shows you what you can do and everywhere you should go, and it's super like cheating basically. But hey, it's going to be way faster to do it that way than any other way that you can do quests. And for quests, no matter how you play, it's probably going to be faster. But if you do want to go fast, if you want to be the fastest leveler known to man, you're going to want to do it like a speed run. You're going to want to go to the map. You're going to want to grab as many quests as you can reasonably grab at a time. You're going to try to group them up whenever they're in a reasonable area and try to find good cycles and stuff. I don't know why my map's glitching out like that. But try to find good cycles and stuff for them, and then return them all at once, and just try to get good cycles like that. And also like straight line to, you know, your quest objectives. Pop potions instead of stopping to eat food or drink or whatever. Just do everything you can to min-max. Like, literally, when I'm questing, I just went to the auction house and spent, like, you'll make enough money in Northrend. You'll literally make hundreds and hundreds of gold just questing. I would highly recommend going to Stormwind or wherever your town is, Ogremar, and buying a bunch of mana potions if they're cheap enough, like runic mana potions or something, whatever you can get affordably. And then if you can get enough of them, have them in your mailbox. Make sure you have like 50 to 100 on you at a time. And when you're out questing, you literally are like casting spells and then just drinking a potion and then going and going and going. Ideally, you actually drink your potions between combat, so the cooldown starts while you're fighting, and then you can more quickly pop another one. That will make it so you don't have to stop and drink or eat as often, which will save you a significant amount of time. Now, you might think this is trivial, but it actually adds up so much it's insane. Because when you go to drink like this, to go from 0 to full mana will take like 15 to 20 seconds. And if you have to do that every like 3 minutes, then you'll lose like over the course of 10 hours of leveling, you'll literally lose like an hour or two of your time to drinking like this. You'll literally spend an hour of your life, 2 hours of your life. By 80, you might spend like 5 hours of your life watching this. So potions are definitely huge for that kind of thing. Yeah, and then questing's really about just how do you round them up and how do you try to get the most done possible. And Northrend in particular loves to just kind of try to bait you into doing one quest at a time. So you do have to be careful about not getting baited into just doing the one quest forever. And it's hard not to, especially if you're a completionist, to just be like, oh, go do this one quest. Oh, go do this one quest and just clean up the map. But really, the best play is to, like, say, this spot right here, grab these 4 quests, go do them, turn them in, see if there's a few more. If it gives you, like, a few more and you have 3 to 5 or something, do them again. But then if you do them all, and there's just, like, one quest now. But in Northrend specifically, you do have to be a little bit careful because sometimes there will be, like, one quest that leads to, like, 4 quests and stuff. So, like, when you go to an area, like, to the Borean Tundra, and you're down here, and it's, like, there's 1 or 2 quests in an area that feels like there should be more, then you may want to try doing them because then it might lead to like 4 and you end up doing a whole ton here and you're here doing things, killing mobs and leveling pretty fast. But if you're in an area that feels like you should have a lot of quests and you've done like 8, 10, 12 quests or something and then there's just, you know, 1 quest, just move on to the next thing. It's not worth it. Like, you can then go to Borean Tundra, you can do all the main ones in Borean Tundra. By the time you're done with that, you'll be 72 or something. Now you'll be reasonable to do the quests in Dragonblight or Sholzar Basin or whatever, or Zaldrag, Grizzly Hills, whatever, you know. You go there, do the core quests, move on, and that's really going to be for a normal player the fastest because, again, I really want to reiterate that 90% of players don't have it in them to play like a robot. And that's not to like be offensive to anybody, but that's just the human condition. That's just how 90% of people are. 90% of people are going to kill a mob and then kind of stand there and think, or maybe open their inventory and look at it or something, and then kind of think about it and then go and then move and then kill a few things and then have these moments where you kind of just stand around for 10 seconds, 20, 30. And over the course of your leveling, most players are going to lose anywhere from 5, like anywhere from, say, 2 to 10 hours, depending on how like ADD basically you are while moving around the map and doing things. And that's just normal. That's to be expected. But that's also the reason I'm reiterating that is that's why dungeons won't work for like 90% of players. That will add up so much in a dungeon situation that it's not practical. And even questing, it adds up. But questings are more conducive to that kind of innate human condition that it won't slow you down as bad in the grand scheme of things when questing. And quests here give a lot of XP, 20 to 25,000 XP or something for a quest. With quests, you can shift while moused over. It'll show you 20,000 per quest. Some give 25. Dungeon ones give 40,000. And you can do a dungeon. If a dungeon is going to be for a bunch of quests, you have like 3 quests or something for the dungeon, then yeah, go ahead and use a group finder, do the group browser, go to dungeons, pick your dungeon, and then just grab a bunch of people, invite, and just get it over with as fast as you can, and then turn in your quests and move on. But definitely grinding is not the play, especially with random pickup groups. You're not going to do it. So I just wanted to have this conversation with you guys. If you're looking this up and you didn't really know the specifics of how all the nitty gritty and stuff works, which I know some of you out there will be like, this video makes no sense, but from my conversations with other players in my entire life playing World of Warcraft, a good like 80% of players don't really have a clear-cut answer to these questions. They always think something and then find out. Like, for example, my guild, there are people in my guild and they're like, oh yeah, dungeons are going to be the play. We're going to go there. We're going to farm dungeons. And I'm like, telling them like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if you're going to be robotic enough to actually pull that off at a reasonable rate. They ran dungeons for 10 hours and they were level 71.5 or something. And they were like, yeah, this sucks. And they went to questing. And then after questing, the guy went from 71.5 to level 77 in like 1.5 days or something. Literally leveled like 3 times faster than that dungeon grind that they did. And they're still going to think people in my guild are just like, oh, this is the fastest. They'll come back a day later and be like, man, I just can't do it anymore. It's not whatever. And then one final thought to leave you with on questing in general. Unless you're actually doing it for a reason. Like in my case, I have a YouTube. I literally have to do things fast whenever I can. In my case, I was not fast on this because I was lazy and behind. I was level 60 when this crap came out because I was just doing other things. But generally speaking, I have to play like a robot. I have to do whatever is mathematically fastest because my job is on the line, basically, trying to go fast, get things done. But for normal players, like you watching, bro, just do whatever's fun, man. Like, if you want to go grind a dungeon, yeah, sure, go grind a dungeon. Unless you're on some timetable, your guild's like, hey, bro, if you don't get to 80 by freaking Saturday, we're going to kick you from the guild. You're not going to get in our 40-man raids for the next 6 months. Like, unless there's some insane something on the line like that, just do whatever's fun, man. Like, yes, questing is going to be the fastest for any normal player. Dungeons are going to be a reasonable second. AoE farming is actually probably the actual fastest for anyone who's super dedicated. But if you don't want to sit there killing skeletons for 25 hours straight, literally doing nothing else, don't do it, man. It's not worth getting to 80 and burning yourself out. That's literally what I did 10 years ago. Whenever it was. The original Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Or not Classic, original Wrath of the Lich King. And I just hardcore grinded to 80 as fast as I could. I actually was questing, but I was just full focused on it like a robot, doing everything like a robot afterwards, and I just burn out and quit playing the game. So, I mean, if you want that to happen, feel free, but generally just do whatever's fun. That's the whole point of World of Warcraft. But now you know what is ideally the fastest in theory and stuff. You know a AoE farming spot right here at Winterguard Keep. That's insanely OP. And if you find more, by all means, use whichever one you want to use. But hopefully now you have a better idea of what is actually the fastest reasonably for you, your class, you as a human being, what you can expect from yourself to actually go fast for you. And just everything related to how to level fast in World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King Classic.